I felt that it is really the computer our most sophisticated tool of the century, and I think combined with other media is just incredible because I did silk screens as an end result, or I did film, or I did video, or just combine the computer with other. I think doing the entire piece on the computer, and many of my films were done 100% by computer, but then reaching out and combining the results from the machine with other media gives even a richer environment to work in. So that I think as long as our technology keeps moving, I mean, if you look at just the tiny smartphones and what they have in them, it's pretty amazing. I must say, though, that the software that I had, where I worked with scientists and would tell them what I would like, and they'd often barter with me on what I could have and couldn't have, but in the end would come back with something that they would say they couldn't do X, but they did Y, and I would have something else added that could be used as a tool to increase what the imagery would be. But I find today that some of the software is very limiting. I can tell when students do work with Photoshop just which filters they used, and there doesn't seem to be the flexibility that was there even in the early days with Tenny and others who had to write their own programs. I mean, use the programs, but use the code and create, like Jean-Claude used Music 5, but I think Tenny was using one, or one of the early ones, maybe 4. I'm not sure. Max was telling me one day about what he was doing, which he thought was pretty amazing when he looked back on how limiting the programs were. And then, of course, they got more and more sophisticated. The machines got faster. But still, it was a slow process. But today, whatever you put in is what you get out. And at that time, I found with having random number generators, and that was something also that Max told me about Tenny, that was attracted to some of my movies because I used a lot of randomness. And that to me was interesting because I wanted the computer to be a collaborator, just like when I painted, a drip of paint would go down the canvas that would take me off in another direction. And that to me is very exciting, to have the tool as something I can bounce off, and not everything I put in I get back, but it extends my way of seeing things or provokes me to think differently about what I should do or not do. So that when you want it to do something exact, it's there for that. But what's lost today is having those probabilities of something happening or not that take you into a new world. So that part of the technology for me, ever since leaving the labs, doesn't exist in what software I can obtain now. In fact, I'm still using some very old software because the filters are so great. I can do things with what existed then that I can't today. One day the machine won't work anymore with it.